Mandy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my channel if you are new. Hi, my name's Mandy. I always mess up the intro. So last weekend I saw the movie Us, and let me tell you, it was pretty damn good. If you guys enjoyed the movie Get Out, you will definitely enjoy Us. And you know what? Jordan Peele is pretty soon gonna be my favorite movie maker of all time, because he is a genius. Like a genius. And the amount of like twists and turns and subliminal messaging and like just hidden messages and stuff like that and symbolism in his movies are insane. And like, I wish that I had made a video on Get Out when it came out a couple years ago, because that would have been nice for me to do, because I'm sure there's a lot going on there. But I just saw Us and I thought that I would make a video of not only just my review, but the hidden meanings and subliminal messaging and stuff that is hidden within the movie, and also explaining it, because I know a few of you guys are a little confused of how it ended and just confused in general on like the twist of the movie and how it all kind of played out and how it all kind of makes sense. Before I start, spoiler alert, please click out of this video if you don't want anything ruined for you, because we're gonna get right into it and I'm not gonna hold back anything, and I'm gonna let out the secrets of the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it ruined, go click out of this video, and then once you've watched it, come back and watch this video, because honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, I suggest you watch it without knowing the crazy twists and turns, because you have to watch it without knowing that stuff, because it'll just make it 1,000 times better watching it. So the movie starts out the same way Get Out started out, you know, in a car, just a regular family, happy-go-lucky, you know, going to their vacation home. And, you know, you see in the movie how, you know, when the mom was a little girl, she ventured out onto a beach in the night. It was raining, it was storming. She came across this really creepy attraction that said find yourself, and it was a mirror maze, and she ended up seeing her doppelganger in there, and it kind of cuts to her parents finding her and her acting kind of weird, not talking, her going into therapy, and you overhear her parents saying like, I just want my daughter back, she won't speak to us, blah blah blah. And then you realize that that daughter is the mom of the family, and they're going back to the beach where it all kind of began, where she saw her doppelganger, and you see that something's kind of off there. And then the little boy ends up kind of wandering off, and you see a weird man standing there with bleeding hands, and you see the same mirror maze that the daughter saw when the mom saw when she was younger. And everything kind of goes down from there, from that night onward. You know, the beginning of the movie, it says before it even starts how there's millions of miles of tunnels and transportation systems, subway systems that are completely abandoned underneath the United States of America. And this is a fact, you guys. Like, that is true, and it is terrifying if you think about it. And if you live in the States, oh boy. So underneath those tunnels are these dangerous doppelgangers called the tethers. They are failed result of a secret government experiment that created clones of people, all of whom inhabited the thousands of miles of abandoned tunnels that run underneath the United States. The project of the government, whatever it was, we don't really find out, was a failure, because it was found that the clones only replicated the bodies of its originals and not their souls. After the project was canceled, the tethers, who were left to wander to fend themselves in the tunnels, this is why they fed off of rabbits, and who knows what else lurks in that underground. It's really, really creepy. And at the end of the movie, when you kind of see how they act in the tunnels mirroring, matching whatever people upstairs are doing, and they do it in like the creepiest way when you see people like on the roller coasters, and then you see how people are acting in the basements. It's just so creepy and so gross. Anyways, so the tethered end up coming up and wreaking havoc on the entire world, and you know, a lot of people die, and they end up like having this whole Hands Across America movement, and it's just a lot. But I'm gonna break down each and every kind of confusing part and also explain it and also reveal the hidden messaging. I don't really want to go through the entire movie and explain what happens in the movie, because you guys can just go and see it once you've this video is kind of just for the people who have already seen it. So yeah, so I always kind of knew that something was off with Adelaide being the mom with the family. You know, from the beginning, they kind of made it pretty obvious that something was off there, and just the facial expression she would make sometimes, and at the beginning when she's like snapping to the beat of the song I've Got 5 on It, and it's not even in rhythm or on beat, was kind of weird. And just like the way that she spoke after the day at the beach, and she was telling her husband what had happened to her when she was a little girl, just the way that she spoke was off and kind of strange. And also the way she was completely understanding and sort of calm when the tethered broke into her house and sat down, and her husband was kind of trying to get them out of it, but she was kind of like telling him to stop because she knew what was happening as it was happening. She kind of was waiting for this moment her entire life. But later on in the movie, at the end, the big twist is finding out that Adelaide is really the fake one, the clone, and the crazy Red is what they call her, the shadow self that's what she referred herself to be. Crazy doppelganger killer from downstairs was actually the real human, real life Adelaide, original Adelaide. And when they were kids, the evil clone, I don't even think that they're evil, to be honest, but we'll get into that in a second. The clone Adelaide child ended up switching places with her, dragging her down into the underground and handcuffing her to the bed. And that is why as soon as they kind of meet up with each other again and Red breaks into Adelaide's house, she handcuffs her to the table because she kept the handcuffs the entire time. What's crazy about it is that when the original tethered clone swapped with the real Adelaide, she ended up taking off her Thriller shirt and putting it on so that she would look like the original, and underneath the original Adelaide kept her Hands Across America shirt and kind of used that as a goal growing up in that terrible place, and like kind of planning out her revenge and what she was gonna do with this Hands Across America thing. Even in the beginning of the film, you see the Hands Across America commercial, as creepy and as morbid as it is, to be honest, and she was kind of enthralled with that idea. Another way to kind of figure out why and how Red was the real human version of Adelaide, the original, she was the only one of them that could speak. She was the only one of them that could make all the rules and kind of order them around, because the rest of them only made like animalistic sounds and were like soulless beings that didn't really have any concept of like humanity whatsoever. And Red was the only one that could talk and kind of form this whole uprising. And also it was pretty obvious from the beginning, given that her parents kind of knew that there was something wrong with her, and the mom was saying, I just want my daughter back. It's kind of strange, because after knowing the truth of how humanity have kind of overlooked this whole clones living underground, eating raw rabbits and suffering, you kind of feel bad for them and kind of see it more as like the clones, the doppelgangers, are the real victims in this whole thing. There's a lot of Michael Jackson references throughout the movie with the Thriller shirt, the one glove, the red jumpsuits, all that. I don't really know the truth behind that. I try to do a lot of researching. I know Jordan Peele did it on purpose. He said that everything he did in the movie was on purpose, and I don't know if it has something to do with the 4-hour documentary that just came out on Michael Jackson. I don't know. There's really no like real explanation as to why he kind of did that. Maybe it'll come out soon, but I don't know so far. But he did say that it was deliberate. Going back to the whole Hands Across America thing, this is actually something that really did occur in the 80s. It was supposed to be some kind of charity event where people would hold hands across America. Apparently it only lasted for 15 minutes. It was kind of a fail because nobody could really commit to getting the full thing done. That was supposed to be the same day Adelaide switched places with Red that in the beginning of the movie, and it took that same amount of time to do so, 15 minutes. So I guess the Tethered kind of carried out that plan and did a way better job than the original Humans. Jordan actually found an ad on YouTube for the original Hands Across America advertisement on YouTube, and he said that he found it cheerful, yes, but also like seriously disturbing. So that's kind of where he got the idea from. And the guy, the creepy guy on the beach at the beginning that the little boy sees, was the first to start the line. The creepy part at the end with the little boy, to be honest, I think throughout the movie there were parts where the little boy kind of was looking at his mom in a weird way, thinking that there was something weird or off or strange about her, especially at the end when they're driving off and he kind of looks at her and she kind of has a little smirk and it's kind of creepy. Ooh, it's so creepy. Oh my gosh. And it's just, I mean, those kids are half tethered, like the mom is, so I don't know. Pluto is the name of the other little boy, the evil little boy, if you will, which is the name of the god of the underworld, which makes a lot of sense because he is absolutely obsessed with fire and like enthralled by it. The name of the opposite little girl, the one that is known to be a monster, is Umbri, which is the darkest part of a shadow during a solar eclipse, like a complete phase of an eclipse, which is just really dark. And the real Adelaide, the one that you think is tethered the whole time, just referred to herself as the shadow self. And the little speech that she gave when she sat down the first time with the family was just really a lot, like a lot. It was dark, it was creepy, it was sad. There was a lot of like feelings there, and I don't know, like the horror of Us is that the people at the bottom are rising above. It's an actual American nightmare. Us, but also US. They are not us, but them. They are suffering below what everyone thinks to be a happy, sunshine-filled life, and they are deprived of basic human rights. And I think we can think about a lot of people who deal with that on a day-to-day basis in the US. You know? That like the privileged upper class people overlook. And I think the movie Get Out and Us are very similar in that sense of like the separation between privileged people, you know, and upper class people, and racism and just stuff like that. There's just such a separation between the two of like what people think are upper class and lower class, and just the treatment and the behavior towards those people is just disgusting. And it's real life, like this is real life. So it's very symbolic in that sense, and I think that he's a genius in that sense. There's a shot in the movie of blood splattering across an Alexa-like home assistant. Jordan Peele was asked Is the technology a part of the us and them? He said, honestly, it's not a theme. I thought about it in great depth in terms of this movie. I think about privilege and pushing the boundaries of what we can make and what we can afford. There's definitely a theme of control, population control, mind control, that I think is connected to the idea of technology. What Peele sought to explore was a story about America and the evils that dwell within us. He said, I wanted to make a movie that allows everybody to face their demons. He said, the feeling that we all feel we are the good guy in our own story prevents us from facing our demons. Peele told the Los Angeles Times, I wanted to make a movie that allows everybody to face their demons in whatever faction you want to put this movie through the prisms of. But as a starting point, the United States and our phobia was the front and center idea to grapple with. Like Get Out, Us is stacked with puzzle pieces and Easter eggs to discover and decode. There's one double meaning right through the actual title, Us. Refers to the fact that these characters are being hunted by themselves, and add a couple periods and it becomes US, as in our country, like I said. This is driven home by one scene in particular when Adelaide Wilson asks her shadow who they are, and they reply, we are Americans. Peele all but confirmed it. There's a double meaning to everything. Look, this movie is about duality, and there's no choice that I'm not trying to layer. Yeah, the state of this country inspired me. We're a country that is afraid of the outsider. We're afraid of the other, whether it's within our borders or outside of our borders. And I think when we fail to point a finger inward, we're capable of really messing up in big ways. The whole thing with Jeremiah 11:11, the Bible verse, it is seen inscribed on a sign held by a homeless person on the beach, and 11:11 is a reoccurring visual for Adelaide throughout the film. Beside the obvious allusion to twins and mirrors with the 11:11 part, the verse says, therefore, thus says the Lord, behold, I am bringing disaster on them, which they will not be able to escape. Though they will cry to me, yet I will not listen to them. And that is insanely morbid and seriously dark and unnerving. Taken in isolation, it's an ominous verse that alludes to doom. So in regards to the whole I've got 5 on it song, this is really, really creepy. And I watched a video on this yesterday, and I'll put the link in the description. I think you guys should really watch it because it goes into way more depth and way more detail. But basically, with the number 5, basically the theory is that the Mayans didn't get it wrong after all. They didn't predict the end of the world to happen, but the end of an era. The Pisces era is over, and the Aquarius era is here. The Aquarius era as in the 5th era, where impending doom and disaster is supposed to be upon us. But I think you guys should watch the video. It goes into a lot more depth and a lot more detail, but I think that's the whole I've got 5 on it reference. And it's a song that kind of goes on throughout the movie, and it's kind of a big deal, I find. Like with the trailer and the movie itself and the song, it's kind of creepy. Guys, the soundtrack is so freaky. It's so freaky. Like the beginning of the movie when it kind of pans out of like all the caged rabbits. I literally have chills right now just thinking about it. The last few things I wanted to say was at the beginning of the movie, the Monkey Paw Productions logo. Before you see the logo itself, you hear a spoon stirring inside a teacup. And the sound is vivid, and it's there, and it's all you can hear. And it's much like the one from Get Out, used as a hypnotic method. A hypnotic method with the stirring of the cup. I think that that is so creepy and so symbolic, and there's so much there going on. Like, there's so much going on. And I feel like I haven't even like touched the surface of all the things that are going on, like in Jordan Peele's mind and head, and what he's trying to project onto us throughout his filmmaking. Like, There's so much. When I got home after seeing this movie, I literally looked at the clock and it was 11:11 and I literally screamed. I was like, this isn't happening. Every time I see 11:11 now, all I'm gonna think about is us. So thanks a lot, Jordan Peele. And how crazy is the irony of the find yourself quote above the mirror maze in the attraction? Like, that's crazy. Anyways, I hope that I helped you kind of figure out what's going on in the film and why and what and how and whatever. I hope that I did. Honestly, all in all, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. I really loved it, and I think you guys will too if you go and watch it. Let me know if you have watched it and what you think of it. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Did you understand it? Are you confused? Did this video help you in any way, shape, or form? Don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button because I do make videos every single week, and click the notification bell. And yeah, be careful out there, you guys. You know what? Seeing the doppelganger version of myself trying to kill me, that's like something straight out of my nightmare. Good night!